Look at these adorable little ladies. The one on the left, the one with the strange, mildly creepy-looking half-smile, that's me. Now look at the one on the right, the one with the adorable curly blonde hair and fashionable sparkly pink leotard. That, my friends, is Margaret Cowens. According to my mom, every Wednesday afternoon, after a long, difficult day of junior kindergarten, Margaret and I would be happily reunited at the little gym. In those days of balance beam walking and swinging on bars, we were inseparable. If I got there before her, I would anxiously await her arrival, refusing to participate in any activities until she got there. I feel extremely fortunate to have been able to spend what could be considered my most important developmental years with Margaret. Since then, we've grown out of our leotards and have moved on to bigger, better things than prancing around the little gym. Margaret has become one of the sweetest, sassiest, sometimes loudest, most hysterical human beings that has ever graced our hallowed halls. Her impressive volleyball abilities and sense of humor make her an irreplaceable member of the class of 2016. I can't wait to hear what knowledgeable advice she has for us, so please clap your hands extra loudly for my little gym buddy, Margaret Sherman Cowens.
One of the many reasons I love visiting Miss Belskis's room is because she has Ralph Waldo Emerson's words written above her door. Trust thyself. Each heart vibrates to that iron string. This past summer, I spent my 5th summer at Camp Glenarden in Tuxedo, North Carolina, and was forced against my will to go on a paddling trip. Let's just say my last paddling trip ended with me having to hold onto a tree branch to stop my boat from continuing going down the rapids completely backwards. So you can imagine my surprise when my friend Avery ran up to me this summer and told me that she had signed us up to go on the last trip of the session. But since there were only enough canoes for the actual campers and not the junior counselors, we were told we would have to kayak. And because of this, learn how to do a wet exit. For all of you inexperienced paddlers out there, something I still consider myself, a wet exit is done in the event that your kayak flips completely upside down in the river and you have to be able to rip your spray skirt, the flexible covering connecting you to your boat so your boat doesn't flood, off of the kayak in order to detach yourself from the boat and swim above water. Word quickly traveled through the Camp Glenarden grapevine that Avery and I were going to have to learn how to do a wet exit, and that's when the horror stories of children being stuck underwater because they couldn't get their spray skirt off in time began. For those of you who know me, you probably know that I did not handle this information well. As you can imagine, I began freaking out and convinced myself that I was not going to be strong enough to pull off my spray skirt and that the lifeguard would take too long to get to me and I would just die. I expressed this fear to my 11-year-old campers before my test, and they reassured me that if I met my ultimate demise, that they would take over my bed, divide up my clothes among the 4 of them, and then take my Eno as things to remember me by. After this pep talk, I made my way to the lake, ready to face my doom. Of course, I forced Avery to do her test first, and she passed perfectly. I was next. I got into my kayak and paddled to the middle of the lake. The lifeguard then told me to flip my boat, and after thinking about it for a second, I began to rock back and forth until my kayak was flipped 180 degrees so that I was completely underwater. Contrary to what I thought was going to happen, I easily ripped off the spray skirt and swam to the surface. Yes, I spent an unsurprisingly amount of time overreacting about this test, but what stuck with me the most was that quick second between the lifeguard telling me to flip my boat and me actually doing it. I had to physically push myself into a situation that I was not entirely sure about, something that is very difficult for me to do. However, in that moment, I trusted myself enough to rock my boat. Many of us have probably heard someone say something along the lines of, "Don't rock the boat," meaning that they don't want you to make waves in the smooth path that they have set out. It is oftentimes hard to have enough trust in yourself to rock the boat because, let's face it, the majority of us sitting in these pews are teenage girls, and with that comes a long list of insecurities, and I am definitely not an exception to this list. However, in the moment that I began to physically rock my boat, I had to trust in my ability to rip off my spray skirt. And if I did not have enough trust in that, I trusted that either Avery or the lifeguard would have saved me from my doom. Many times, I will go around asking people what I should do, wear, or say. But when they tell me their opinions, I get irritated that they are trying to tell me what to do. Sorry, Mom. But what I'm really telling myself in these moments is that my opinions don't matter. And I begin to value others' opinions far above my own. What we think about ourselves should come from somewhere within and not be based on the opinions of others. It takes a lot of courage to take personal responsibility for your life, but there is so much comfort in the idea that everything has a way of working out. So, ask for advice when you need it, but be sure to take it with a grain of salt. Because in the end, you are the one who lives with your decisions, so make sure whatever you choose to do will make you happy. Everyone is capable of rocking the boat. You just have to have enough trust in yourself to do it. So, trust thyself. Each heart vibrates to that iron string. Thank you.